It's one of nature's most perfect foods. It literally has everything needed, a perfect balance of nutrients, protein, vitamins, and calories. Nature's most perfect food, for babies, that is. Milk is the miracle food that has been the life force for mammals since the beginning of time. For us humans, it's well known to be the ideal source for infants throughout the world, in every culture, in every century. So why then are nearly 2/3 of the world's population have some allergic reaction to dairy? That is, over 60% of adults have some level of lactose intolerance. That is a lot of the world's population that cannot take advantage of all the terrific benefits found in dairy. In this video, we're going to reveal some potential solutions for men that have some intolerance to dairy that may be able to allow them to enjoy it in their diet to support their ultimate health and male physique. Okay, let's begin. Humans have been living on farms for centuries. For over 12,000 years, archaeologists have discovered evidence of humans moving to a farming style of life from the previous nomadic lifestyles. And part of this farming life has included the domestication of animals. And of course, part of this domestication was using animals as a food source, including milk. Humans have consumed milk for centuries, and given the nutrients and health benefits, it's very understandable that dairy would be a staple of the human diet. So why then is dairy intolerance so prevalent that many cannot take advantage of its nutritional value? The answer lies in the human body's ability to produce lactase, which is what our body uses to process and break down lactose. Lactose, of course, is the base sugar that most people have trouble digesting. Lactose is a disaccharide that the body breaks down into glucose and galactose. Without getting too detailed into the science, lactose must be broken down into glucose for the body to use as fuel. Lactase is an enzyme that is the main tool for that breakdown, and lactase comes from a gene in the body that produces it. But here's the kicker. Most humans make less lactase as we age. And researchers show that there's a correlation between actually consuming dairy and the production of lactase to help digest dairy. That is, when dairy is not consumed regularly, the lactase gene produces less lactase for digestion. So what about the 1/3 of people who can consume dairy without any digestive issues? Well, they're still producing lactase. There is some evidence that not only are they regularly consuming dairy to give their bodies the signal to continue producing lactase, but there is also evidence that descendants of ancestors that farmed and milked domesticated animals have the lactase gene more prominently that allows them to digest lactose more effectively and naturally. This is mostly related to ancestry coming out of Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. This is a great example of the environment influencing gene development in the human body. Now, here's the good news for those getting bloating, abdominal pain, nausea, and diarrhea. The answers lie in the quantities of dairy, the gut biome, and the processing of dairy, pasteurization. So first, there's evidence that the 2/3 of the world that are lactose intolerant can tolerate about a cup of dairy per day. A cup of milk, that is. So this cup could be calculated into cheese, cream, or ice cream as part of our body's ability to process dairy. And this makes sense as we often hear all things in moderation as a call to optimal health. We know that if you consume too much of anything, you can have serious detrimental health reactions. This is most obvious with medication, but we can literally drink too much water, our most precious life force substance. So if we can handle 1 cup of dairy daily, the base reason for this is because of gut health. As we all know, gut health is literally the key to all optimal health. If our gut health is not optimal, the rest of our health is not optimal. And the key to all of this is gut bacteria. We have trillions of bacteria cells in our body, primarily in our large intestines where we process the food we consume. And while we have trillions of bacteria, we only have hundreds of species of bacteria. So it's incredibly critical that we get each type of bacteria that we need, even if we can't get the quantity required. Because in the case of dairy, only some of the species of bacteria are capable of breaking down lactose. So when your intestines are not in optimal health, the breakdown of lactose produces waste. Waste in the form of gas, and this of course is the source of the bloating and pain associated with lactose intolerance. Having an optimal gut biome is key to keeping the bloating down. Similarly, osmosis occurs in your digestive tract. Water is moved into the intestines to help with the breakdown of food. If the gut is having trouble breaking down dairy solutes, then the osmosis will increase and create an abundance of water in the large intestine. And predictably, too much water in your digestive tract is not ideal and is the source of much diarrhea associated with a lactose intolerance. So keep your gut healthy. Cut down on the carbs, especially the starchy carbs. Add in more protein and cut out the junk food, especially cutting down on the processed food. And processing is the third area of focus with dairy. That is, the processing of milk is a key part of many people's issue with dairy. Of course, we're talking about pasteurization. Pasteurization has been around for only about 130 years. Compare that to the 6,000 years humans have been drinking milk from domesticated animals. And pasteurization was put in place for all the right reasons. There were real risks with bacterial diseases and other unhealthy effects that were correlated with milk that had gone bad. And that is the key: milk that has gone bad. Raw milk in itself is not inherently dangerous. If it was, we would never have mothers nurse their infants. Same with all mammals. No, it's when milk is produced for mass consumption, bottled, shipped, and transported in less than ideal conditions that the problems tend to mostly manifest. But this is not just a milk problem. This is a problem with all perishable food. Fruit, vegetables, meat, all must be treated in a manner to remain fresh and free of harmful bacteria. It's common sense, obviously. So pasteurization had good results early against some of the problems with bacteria developing in dairy that was not fresh. But the question is, what else has pasteurization done to dairy? Well, researchers have shown that pasteurization destroys much of the good bacteria as well as the bad. This is very similar to taking antibiotic medication. It literally destroys all in pursuit of destroying the bad. Pasteurization heats up milk to about 160 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, the whey proteins that are so valuable to us change in a way that can trigger immune responses. This denaturing of the proteins can certainly be part of the problem with dairy intolerance. Similarly, the homogenization of milk also has issues for us, as it's a processing of milk that does not occur in nature. Homogenization is simply a process to make milk appear more uniform, to stop the natural separation of the cream. And as we know, processed food in any kind has not been kind to humans. It's one of the most questionable things we have done regarding our optimal human nutrition. With unpasteurized dairy, there are so many positive aspects that remain ideal for our health. Enzymes and antibodies that are good for us remain in the dairy and in a form that is naturally absorbed through our digestive systems. Humans have known this for thousands of years without having to get into the science of pasteurization. Simply consuming dairy had fulfilled many of the nutritional requirements of our ancestors. But there is one, quote, process that is incredibly beneficial for us. It's fermentation. Essentially, fermentation is not only a natural preservative, but also promotes the growth of healthy probiotics. And with dairy, fermentation is most beneficial in the production of unpasteurized cheese and fermented milk, kefir. Kefir is a drink that can be a tremendous addition to your health regimen. Easy to make by simply adding in kefir grains to unpasteurized milk and letting it sit at room temperature for about 24 hours. The result is a natural probiotic drink with many benefits. Researchers have shown that fermented cheese and kefir are beneficial for fat-soluble vitamins and certain anti-inflammatories. Back in the 1800s, unpasteurized and fermented dairy was used as medicine for the treatment of gout, gum disease, and even asthma. The benefits of dairy, unpasteurized and sometimes fermented, are clear. But be mindful of dairy. Pasteurization is the general state of dairy. In the U.S., raw dairy is legal in most states, but not all. Check with your locality to make sure that you are within the rules. As always, be smart with food and take precautions to keep all food fresh and ideal for consumption. If you take all of this into consideration, dairy can be an incredible part of your nutrition within your journey to optimal male fitness. You can get the nutrients, the protein, the enzymes and antibodies to help you thrive. And, if done as part of the broader routine, can help you achieve that optimal physique to complement your health. Check out this video for more on how to keep your motivation high for health and fitness, and we'll see you next time.